There are just 40 days until October 1st. That's the day when millions can enroll in the healthcare law's insurance expansion. Many Republicans are sounding the alarm bell, and so are major corporations. But some say the country's healthcare system must change, and Obamacare might be the answer.
A cry for joy outside the U.S. Supreme Court. In a 5-4 vote, Barack Obama's signature healthcare reform, based on an individual mandate, was declared constitutional. This key provision will require almost every U.S. citizen to get health insurance or pay a fine. That's a relief for millions of Americans who are uninsured or drowning in medical costs.
The individual mandate's going to level the playing field and make health care affordable. I can't afford $825 a month, and it doesn't cover anything.
The verdict is a huge victory for Barack Obama. Burdened with a stalled economy, he's waging a fight for a second White House term with his record on social issues. Women, minorities, and the young are huge backers of the law, voters he's trying to get to the ballot box in November.
Today's decision was a victory for people all over this country whose lives will be more secure because of this law and the Supreme Court's decision to uphold it.
For opponents, the decision is an outrage. Tea Party activists and other conservatives fear ballooning debt and reduced personal choice.
Today, liberty lost. This is bad healthcare policy. It's going to drive up the deficit. It's a federal takeover of a huge part of our economy.
No. Liberty, yes. Liberty, no.
Republican leaders announced a vote to repeal the law next month in Congress, and White House challenger Mitt Romney used the verdict as a rallying cry.
Our mission is clear. If we want to get rid of Obamacare, we're going to have to replace President Obama.
Yes, we can.
Some popular provisions are already in effect. Children under 26 years old can enroll on their parents' policies, and people with pre-existing conditions can't be denied coverage. The individual mandate goes into effect in 2014, offering uninsured Americans coverage in the world's most expensive healthcare system.
Well, there's certainly a lot to talk about on this one. Now, as we just saw Mitt Romney talking, he said in order to get rid of Obamacare, we're going to have to get rid of President Obama, and that clearly is not going to happen. Dee Dee, I'm quite certain that you have quite a few opinions on this one. Let's just find out. Let's just find out where everybody stands.
I mean, it's such a disaster. I mean, one of the, perhaps the worst policy our country's ever seen, and it was supposed to be the signature marquee, wonderful policy of Obama. And it's not working. The Democrats are freaking out now. The unions are even against it. They're writing letters saying this is not good for us. Now we've got these businesses going out of business. We've got full-time workers being part-time workers. Look at UPS. Oh gosh, now their spouses aren't even going to have health care. One thing after another, it's just unraveling. It's a problem, and I hope the Republicans keep trying to knock it off.
Well, I want to talk about, in a few minutes, about how this is affecting the upcoming elections and also the big businesses that are now saying they're not in favor of this. Jackie, your thoughts?
Yes, everything that you're talking about, UPS, let me bring in Delta, who says that they're going to have their costs run up so high, they're going to have to raise
$100 million.
$100 million. They're going to have to raise our airfare. These are all big businesses, and those are the businesses that are going to make up for the money that the little person is going to gain once Obamacare comes into law. So it's the big businesses who are pushing against Obamacare. It's not the little person, it's not the public worker, it's not children, it's not those at risk, it's not those with pre-existing conditions. All those people will gain. They will have a basic right to health care in this country, which is affordable. It's the big business that is trying to squish that, using these appeals like liberty and freedom, which really is a selling point to the common person to try to buy into this.
Just picking up on your point, liberty. This is where I really disagree with Dee Dee on this one. Liberty, there's more restrictions with insurance companies, more oversight, and more insurance companies not protecting the patient, not paying for the patient, and certainly not paying me, the doctor. I do almost 4,000 sessions a month, mostly Medicare. I get paid. Insurance companies, they don't want to pay me, and they don't want to cover the patient. There's more oversight, more zealousness on the part of insurance companies, more socialism, if you will, with insurance companies rather than Obamacare. I think it's the opposite of what Dee Dee says. I think Obamacare is going to be very successful, and the Republicans are the ones who want to beat it now. That's how I see it.
Well, there's a lot of Democrats, though, and I'm going to take a different side on this one. A lot of Democrats are pulling back a little bit as well. They've got these upcoming elections, and Obamacare is not very popular. So we're going to go back around this way. Dr. Bart, your thoughts on that?
Well, some people...
Upcoming elections, so the Democrats are now pulling out.
The American Psychological Association, Psychiatric Association, the American Medical Association, the American Sociological Association, they're all for Obamacare because they know it's going to fight insurance companies and it's going to work better than insurance companies. The politics of this, the psychology of the politics is a little different because Democrats are concerned because there are enough people who have a question mark on this whole thing. And Republicans have done a pretty good job of putting a big question mark on Obamacare.
Okay, Jackie, I'm going to give this question to you. Let's not take the Democrat side right now. Let's go back to Delta, as you brought up before. They're saying it's going to cost, today, top headlines everywhere, it's going to cost them $100 million. UPS, another giant in this country, they say they're going to pull back spousal privileges.
Right.
So how do you counter that?
How we counter that is saying, what is the principle here? Do those workers of UPS, do the workers of Delta deserve good health care? And if you say yes, then the payment for that good health care has to come from the top. One of the ways that we could do it without having them pay so much, the employer, is to raise taxes on the rich, to raise taxes on the employers. Taxes now for corporations are at their lowest that has ever been. They don't want to pay, which is why there is such a big pushback now, and not only from the corporations and the rich, but from the richest rich like Karl Rove, from the Koch brothers, etc.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I read about, and this all, of course, came out within the last couple of hours, but Delta said that it's going to cost their employees $65 more per employee. So the question is, are they going to get better health coverage? That's a fundamental question that I have.
Well, apparently the spouses aren't, because the spouses are kicked out now because they can't afford it. This is not the Affordable Care Act. It is the unaffordable one. And it's, Jackie, you shouldn't penalize successful businesses. It's not up to them to pay for you or to pay for anyone else. That's not what capitalism is all about. And you know what?
So it's about being selfish and making as much money as you can, so we don't have any Antoinette Tufts. It's dealing with crises with compassion.
We're talking about businesses going under, not just big
Oh,
ones.
Delta is not going to go under.
Businesses.
UPS is not going to go under by taking care of their employers.
But the cost will be passed on to other people, though.
Yeah.
We're going to all, if Delta, which they're saying $100 million, they're going to have to raise the price of airfare.
It's all on us.
But wait,
one at a time, one at a time.
To answer your question on cost, though, what's going to happen is, what's happening now is we're paying for the people who are not insured. When they go to the hospital and they're uninsured, we all pay for that. So Obamacare gets everybody covered. So those people who are paying a little bit more money, their tax dollars are not going to go pay for the guy who doesn't have any insurance.
Sure.
Overall, this will be a winning situation.
No way.
And it's going to be a winning situation because if this is a conservative idea. This is what kills me. This is out of the Heritage Foundation, where everybody...
Oh, they're not for this. What are you talking about?
Well, the Heritage...
They're not, no. I assure you, they are not for this.
The individual mandate came from the
Romney
Heritage Foundation. Romney put it into Romneycare, and Obamacare, as soon as it became
Romney's
Obamacare,
wrong.
they didn't like
Romney's
it.
wrong about what he's saying. And you know what? Well, other than, what we want is the midterms to get rid of the Democrats so we can try to overturn it and stop it. This is so bad. This is the worst policy our country's ever had.
How about instead of playing politics and policy, we do look at it with compassion? Do these
what are you
people,
talking about? That has
I'll
nothing
tell
to do
you,
with it.
It has everything to do
No,
with
it
healthcare.
doesn't. You're taking
Everything.
businesses
It's
out of business.
All right, wait.
basic right. They're not going out of business.
So